Okay. Yeah, so come and stand in the middle of your mat. The only thing I will say about in here is I don't have masses of headroom, so if my elbows look bent on any of the overhead stuff, that doesn't mean that yours need to be bent. It's just I will probably knock my house down. So do go for full extension when you take your arms up. So just put your weights on the floor to begin with, feet hip width apart, and just begin to sort of push your feet down into the mat. So a little bit of grounding, feel supported by the ground, by the mat. Tuck the pelvis under, and you might immediately find there with the pelvic floor pulls in. Then find that TVA, so where the tummy button sits, and draw it back and pulling it in. Notice if you hold your breath with that, take the shoulders down and back. Find some length at the back of the neck, crown of the head going up towards the ceiling. 3 times 5 seconds with these engagements on the core. So pulling in, pelvic floor TVA 100%. Hold. Keep squeezing. We're activating these muscles, waking them up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then just take a slow release, and then we'll go again. Pelvic floor TVA. Big squeeze. Now notice if you're holding your breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that slow release. Last time, pulling in pelvic floor. Getting that pelvis nicely tucked under. TVA, big squeeze. Shoulders relaxed. Just breathing normally. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow release it to 50%. The engagement's still all in there. Lifting one arm up level with the shoulder, ear down to shoulder, reaching to the side. Try and keep the hips still, recentering. Reach that arm up to the ceiling. Reach it up, then over for your side bend. Hand on hip there. You could take a little spiral, heart to ceiling. And then recenter. We'll go to the other side. Lifting the arm up, neck release, ear down to shoulder. Reaching to the side walls. Hips still, recentering. Reaching that up. Don't do what I'm doing, I haven't got the space. Then take it over, side bend. Spiral heart to ceiling. Notice when you spiral, you still pull in the core muscles. Recenter and back to the other side. Let's get a little bit more flow. We can go faster if it feels good. If you like the slower pace, just stick with that. Breathe in, reach. Breathing out for those side bends. If you want a little bit more, you can just tug on those fingertips and get a little bit more length. Recenter and left. Ear down. Reach. Should get that lovely squeeze into the side. Breathing in, lift that arm up, stretch it up to the ceiling. Then go over. Adding in if you need to get that little bit more length there in the lats, the side body. Release. Last time each side lift. Neck release. Side wall. Recenter. Extend up. Over. Breathing out. Adding in another breath. Breathe in. Breathe out for that big side stretch. And release. Last one. Lift. Neck release. Reach. Recenter. Breathing in, left. Over. Adding in that extra breath now. Big extension. Almost breathing that, taking that breath right into that side body. And release. Picking up your weights if you've got your weights and you want to bring them in. So, opening so drawing a circle round with the arms, taking them up towards the ceiling. Again, you can work full extensions. And then lowering these all the way back down, then bend the knees back into your squats. So hips going back into space. Then again, circling all the way around. I'll show you this way as well. Bringing that down. hips back into space. Notice what's happening with the knees. Try not to let the knees pronate in. Keep an eye on the arches underneath the feet. Don't let them drop inwards. Squeeze the glutes as you lift. Should feel the arm muscles kind of contracting and working for you on there, so the tension's there in the arms. Reaching up and round. So coming back to the initial exercises with the core, are we still pulling in pelvic floor? Are we still engaging that TVA? Breathing out as we go down into our squat. Breathing in as we lift. Last one. Breathing in, lift. Breathing out, come down into the squat. Recenter. Now this one's, I'm going to go back slightly. It's a little bit tricky, it's a new one. So put the weights together, and if that's too heavy, just stick to one. Take that up over the head, and you're just going to dip to the side and draw like a little circle with the weights. So really key is to have the pelvis tucked under, pelvic floor pulled in, TVA, because we've got a side bend. Then we've got like almost like a cat position when we're in all fours. So the shoulders will dip forwards. So it's quite a strengthening move as well. Then just take the circles the other way round. So the weights go up and over the head. Maybe it helps to show you this way as well, up and over and round. It's got a nice little bit of flow to this move as well. It gets the body moving a little bit, spiraling. Last one. Coming to center. Now this one I do need to make sure I get this one right, otherwise I will knock my house to bits. Big star position. Big star with the legs. Big star with the arms. Now kind of grip your weights here so you're engaging your arm muscles, and then tuck the pelvis under. So we're not arching in lower back. Pull in pelvic floor, pull in TVA. Tricep little mini dips. So one hand goes behind the head and then reaches back up. So bend at the elbow. Weights behind the head and extend back to star. Now just check that you're breathing into all four corners, the top corners of that torso. So widening in the chest. You have to really control this one, don't you? Because the elbow wants to wobble a little bit. This is the kind of the backs of the arms position. Stay nice and strong in the legs. Think about the grounding there down through the feet. 2 more. So now, same position in the star, we're going to take the opposite hand. So it's opposite hand towards the opposite foot. So it's that saw position, but we're just going to go straight down, soften the knees slightly, straight up. So it's almost like a wood chop opening on the chest. So coming down, you don't have to go all the way down to the floor. And then lifting up. Breathing out to come down. A little bit of softening there in the knees. And breathing in to lift. So it's a little bit of work across the chest. It's a nice crossbody move. Going through about 8 of these on each side. Hamstring stretch in there as well. Breathing in, lift. I don't know if you can hear the birds. I can hear the birds. One more, then we'll switch sides. And lift. Then other side. So lifting up to that star position, legs are nice and wide. Breathing out, soften the knees. Lifting up and out. Breathing in, breathing out. And extend. So it kind of strengthens around the shoulder. A little bit of a stretch in the chest, the rib cage. Such a brilliant twist. How are we going? 4 more. Still thinking about that grounding through the feet. You're almost like hoovering with your feet, so scrunching up the toes slightly, engaging the arches underneath the feet, reaching up, taking it down. Last one. So in that wide squat position, come it down a bit. I want you just to really think about pulling in pelvic floor and engaging core. So I want you to go to 100% with the core. So like we did in the initial warm up. So pelvic floor and TVA really pulling in, and notice if you're holding your breath. And then it's punching straight out in front. But the core is at 100% here. Drive elbows back into space behind you. So there's a real good rotation here. There's a little bit of movement. We're not just punching at the front, we're getting the power from the back. Core at 100%. Keep working, keep pulling in. Notice if you're holding your breath. Let's get rid of any of that aggression, anything that isn't serving us today. Punch it out. Option then is to do a little bit of a twist and punch. Reminds me of my aquafit days, this one. I used to love this one. A little bit more rotation there in the chest. Core's still at 100%. We're still pulling in on the pelvic floor. Still in with the TVA. Still work at driving the elbows back. 8 left. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. Put the weights down. A little bit of shake out on the arms. I don't normally do anything that quick with my Pilates, but I just think it's quite a nice way of just having a bit of a let go of a few things. A few balances coming up then, okay? So just adjust myself a little bit. So just start by standing on one foot. Close your eyes. Coming back to that kind of inner stillness. Scrunch up the toes. Engage the arch underneath the feet, drawing in the core. Then opening your eyes, take 10 little heel lifts, so it's just strengthening ankles, strengthening calf muscles, lift and lower. Try and keep the shoulders relaxed. Kind of works with those connections. So we're trying to squeeze glutes, pulling core. Keep the balance, it all engages back to the brain. Bring those heart rates down a little bit after all the punching. Last one, then switch sides. So take the balance first, so close your eyes, count to 10. Pelvis is tucked under, the core's engaging, shoulders relaxed, squeezing the glutes. Coming back to that inner focus. When you're ready, those 10 little lifts, lift and lower. I often find as well just dipping my shoulders forward slightly for these heel lifts helps me. If I lean back, I tend to lose my balance. I don't know if that helps. Keep working at the pelvic floor, the TVA. Whew. 4 more. So release from there. Now this next bit is a little bit of a sequence. So take a nice wide kind of stride, hip width, and then bring the arms up over the head. Palms together. You have done this one before, so we're in that nice stride. Legs are straight because we're taking a calf stretch, so we're pushing down the back heel. We're hoovering both feet, and we're just kind of grounding down through that back heel, but the front leg is straight too. Take a side bend in this position. Then kind of come into your cat position like we do when we're on all fours. So we're circling the arms and then side bend the other side. Then if it's comfortable, you could maybe back bend or just come back up to center and then round again. So this works with balance, but it's also like a real super slow way of just taking us around, spiraling, side bending, stretching. But we're still working with that calf stretch on that back heel. So it's really easy to lose the head position out of the arms. Now see, we'll go back around the other way. So if you can keep the head in between the arms. So it's a little bit more challenging on that position then, and the head stays in that center position. You have to engage with the core. 2 more this way around. Lots of work with the side body today. Then from there we're going to lift the back leg. So all you do is you lift the back leg to a balanced position. Ah, she says, with no sense of balance. Normally I've got a nice wall I balance against. There's all my tricks coming out. Squeeze the glutes, pull in the core. Find something to focus on now. Extend the arms down by your sides and reach the fingertips behind you. Just take 3 breaths here. Thinking about straightening that back leg. You can maybe point the toes. Squeeze the glutes. 1 more breath. Then we did it last week. Take the eagle wrap. So wrap that foot around. Take 1 elbow under. Interlink the fingers. And then just come into your eagle wrap. Start to lift the elbows up. And if you want to challenge your balance, take the eye gaze up towards the fingers. And just a couple of breaths there. Release, and we go to the other side. So we start with taking that nice big stride. Push down the back heel for a calf stretch. Thinking about hoovering with the feet. Take the arms up over the head. Start to reach the hands up to the ceiling. Then take in your side bend. Then begin to spiral circle that round. Drawing a nice big circle, working here with balance. Back up to center. And really the hips stay facing forwards. Thinking here about engaging with the core. And again, we can go back to putting the head in between the arms and try and hold it in there. And 1 more. Then we go back around the other way. So recenter yourself. Come with the core. Work into that side bend. Begin to explore the space around the body with these circles. Also, you've got these palms touching, which is such a nice way of coming back to some balance. Both sides of the brain. Reconnecting. 2 more. I can hear a pigeon. You get that? Normally we hear a cuckoo really loud in the morning. Then we go to the balance. So take that leg behind you. Squeeze in the glutes. 3 deep breaths. Begin to reach the fingertips back behind you. It's sometimes easier off the mat. So if you struggle with your balance on your squidgy mat, go off the mat on the floor. Finding something to focus on. Draw the shoulders down away from the ears. Then wrap round, take your eagle, opposite elbow underneath. See if you can interlink your fingers. Challenging the balance, you start taking the eye gaze up towards the fingertips. One more deep breath. And we will release